Scientists have done the craziest experiments on animals, like two-headed transplants, robot monkeys, and much worse. From groundbreaking achievements to experiments gone wrong. The first experiment I found was a two-headed dog by a man named Vladimir. He was known for lung and heart transplants, but was this even possible? This will change the world. It sounds crazy, like something from a movie. However, Vladimir was very confident with past experience operating on dogs. So in 1954, he actually took the risk. After many hours, Vladimir had successfully put a puppy's head on another dog's body, and the world was shocked. Mom, why does the dog have two heads?
What? Ah!
The experiment sparked ethical drama about what's the point? The world was outraged. But no, he didn't stop there. After many unsuccessful attempts, two-headed dogs survived up to 38 days. This has to be the craziest. How could anyone top this? I agree, but the next experiment will drop your jaw. So NASA was experimenting with dolphins, trying to get them to speak. Dolphins go, but they wanted, yo, what up, man? Okay, is this even possible? Dolphins have bigger brains than humans, so NASA gave it a shot. Meet Margaret, the caretaker for 3 dolphins in the experiment. Her job was to train them to speak and keep them busy, foreshadowing. After a few weeks of training, Margaret became very close with one dolphin. This dolphin was 6-year-old Peter. FBI, open up! It's a dolphin? In the first few weeks, Peter's lessons went well. He couldn't speak English, but he could imitate her speech inflections. Compared to a human taking years to learn this, the team was making great progress. So, to take this experiment more seriously, Margaret built a water room where she could live with the dolphin and connect. Isn't this crazy? Well, it gets much worse. After months of lessons, Peter might have fallen in love. Yeah, the dolphin. Margaret quoted, "He jams himself again and again against my legs, circles around me, is inclined to nibble, and is generally so excited he cannot control his attitude around me." Hey, yo! Sure, connecting might improve training, but it didn't stop there. Peter was so in love that he couldn't concentrate on speaking. Initially, as a solution, Peter was transferred with the 2 female dolphins. It worked fine, but it would take hours to move. Not very efficient. So to save time, Margaret took matters in her own hands, quite literally. And she'd manually stimulate the dolphin to orgasm. A dolphin gets more play than me. Even thinking about that is disturbing. But the story doesn't stop there. Peter's progress stalled despite the freaky handshakes and connection. The most Peter spoke was saying, "Hello, Margaret," but had trouble with the letter M. Instead, he greeted her with something else. Without progress, the team's funding was cut short, which is probably for the better. But sadly, this wasn't the happy ending, as it got much darker. The 3 dolphins were transferred to a small lab in Miami. The living conditions were absolutely terrible. Sadly for Peter, Margaret wasn't there either. They created such a strong connection, and suddenly she disappeared on him. In life, he only wanted Margaret, foreshadowing. A dolphin's love with a human? This story is so messed up. As foreshadowed, Peter's life ended. He sank to the bottom of his tank and stayed there. Minutes later, without air, Peter had drowned himself dead. Such a sad story, but the next one gets really weird. In the 90s, Charles Vacanti wanted to create human body parts in a lab. Weird start, huh? They experimented with creating biodegradable scaffolding so a body part would dissolve in the skin with a shape. One day, his brother heard a colleague complain about making ears for patients missing them. Would it be possible to put an ear on a mouse? The scientists used cow cartilage and shaped the ear. However, this mouse wasn't missing an ear, so they literally placed it on his back. The mouse went under anesthetic, was opened up, and voila! A human ear bulging from his back. The world was stunned, as who wouldn't be? If I saw that mouse, I'd be running. Ah! This next experiment is like a cool crazy. In 1948, a man named Peter wanted to test drugs on spiders. And no, he's not a dolphin, just a dude. Now, you may wonder, what's the point? The reason actually makes sense. A group of people were tired of running into spider webs in the morning, so they wondered, is it possible to stop spiders from building webs? If you've enjoyed these experiments so far, please like and subscribe. They get crazier. So starting out, he had to pick good substances for the spiders. These included LSD, mescaline, and amphetamines. What a great idea! First result was the normal web, perfectly woven and ready to trap flies and humans. No! However, when spiders were given marijuana, things changed. Seeing the web, the spiders just gave up. I guess marijuana made them chill? On LSD, they made a symmetrical web, but low-key it looked scary. And here's the rest. This experiment didn't stop there though. In 1995, NASA took this data and built on it. The goal was to find a similarity between drug spiders and humans and how they make webs. NASA tested marijuana, benzodrine, caffeine, and chloral hydrate. At the start, we have the normal web, and from there, the results were similar. It was hard to tell a difference even 50 years later. Pretty interesting experiment, right? This next one is extremely sad, so get ready. An elephant named Tuska was in a controversial experiment. A little context on elephant behavior. They go through must during mating season, becoming angry and destructive, which made it hard to care for elephants, scientists argue. So they brought Tuska to their lab, a 14-year-old elephant being injected with LSD. This could get bad. When choosing a dose, scientists weren't really sure. In humans, 20 to 30 micrograms causes hallucinations, but elephants are huge. So they injected 25 times the human dose, and what happened? Sadly, it didn't end well for Tuska. Shortly after being blasted with acid, the elephant keeled over and started seizing. In an attempt to save him, researchers gave him the anti-psycho drug, promazine. The seizures stopped, but Tuska wasn't healing. Realizing this, they injected him with a pentobarbital, a drug used to execute prisoners. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Basically used to calm the elephant. Despite the attempt, Tuska had died. Isn't that just messed up? The world reacted heavily, being shown in the news and media, especially since he was taken from a zoo for the experiment. Like, firstly, why so much LSD? 25 times the human amount is insane. Also, they barely had a backup plan. It's truly sad to see these stories. Next experiment will brighten your mood. It's pretty funny. Dinosaurs roamed the earth a long time ago, then they died. Was there any way we could bring them back? Researchers in Chile had this idea to recreate a T-Rex walk in real life. What animal walks on two legs and looks similar? Birds. Yep, those furry animals would become dinosaurs. Only if it worked. First, they tried a metal tail. The researchers purchased a bunch of chickens and attached a metal rod to their back. As expected, this didn't work and the chickens were doing squats. Lift that weight, boy! I just had to make a gym joke. The researchers tried again. They found the perfect weight, material, and design using wood instead of metal, and found the chickens leaning forward like a dinosaur. Now, what's the point of this? Really? I couldn't tell you. The scientist said it was nice to see I wasn't the only lunatic who wanted to do this kind of thing. At least it had a wholesome story. The final experiment might be the craziest one yet. It's on monkeys and humans combining genetics. Sounds crazy? Well, in 2021, researchers added human cells to monkey embryos to see what happened. They described their goal as understanding how organisms communicate together, but this could make King Kong. As they combined the cells, they watched as everything survived and multiplied to one. The first human monkey! Researchers tested this on 132 monkey embryos, and by day 19 they nearly all died. Which is groundbreaking, but also scary how it worked. One day we'll have talking human monkeys. Or maybe dolphins. If you found this interesting, please subscribe and watch another banger.